Welcome back to Building the Burbs, guys. My name is Howard,
I'm Keegan.
and we have a very, very, very special guest today, Ashley Velez. And she's gonna be talking about Ashley Velez Digital. Yeah, let's get into it. Tell us a little bit about the beginning, like what led you to where we are today.
I actually am a KSU alum
Okay,
Awesome.
and graduated in 2006.
okay.
And but my major was actually English.
Hmm.
So I thought that my great plan was to be a magazine editor,
Well,
Okay.
and there weren't a whole lot of magazine opportunities here
Yeah.
in Atlanta, and I didn't want to move up to New York. So my first job was actually an administrative assistant in a commercial real estate firm, which was, it was a big office,
Yeah.
but what it allowed me to do was gain office experience. And then also I had to do a lot of market because they were working on these big properties. So it was going looking at census data and what was around, and so it taught me how to do research
Yeah.
pretty well. Then in 2009, um, because the market wasn't great,
Yeah.
I got let go. But 2009 was when I started freelancing. I had never built a website. I had never attempted to do anything digital aside from having a blog, which is
Okay.
going to age me, and like MySpace and stuff,
Yeah.
which also. But so I built my first site on WordPress completely from scratch.
Wow.
And so my plan was to be an assistant for writers, because it
Okay.
was a side job that I had in college. I loved doing it. I actually worked in the English department at KSU too as a
Okay.
student assistant. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to be an assistant for writers,
Yeah.
which was a great idea in theory. Except in 2009, writers didn't have any money either. So,
Yeah.
but I did have some clients. I did get some, and so it really was just kind of helping me, um, honestly, learn that resilience
Yeah.
that is so needed as an entrepreneur. So it was a constant state of, okay, well, let's try this thing, and then let's try this other thing, and that was a couple of years worth of that. I was writing online. I was blogging for myself, and starting to write about SEO,
Hmm.
which again, 2009, 10, 11, it was early at
Yeah.
real SEO. And then 2012, I got an opportunity to start working at a super small digital marketing agency, and we specialized in working with small businesses. So a lot of home services like
Hmm.
painting, HVAC, restaurants, very very hyper local businesses. Um, and it turns out I love that.
Hmm.
Okay.
I loved working with small businesses. I was there till 2014. After that, I did some in-house marketing work for a couple of larger firms. And then in 2018, I co-founded an agency with one of the gentlemen that I had worked with previously. And so same kind of idea. We really wanted to work with small businesses. We worked with quite a handful in the North Metro Atlanta area, and then kind of expanded into the Southwest, and then even had clients nationwide. And that was really starting to gain momentum until COVID.
Oh
And
man.
then, so then I had to pivot again.
Yeah.
Um, but thankfully, again, years of just going, okay, that didn't work. Let's try again.
Yeah.
Okay, that didn't work. Let's try again. We ultimately decided that, the best thing to do was kind of dissolve that. and I worked for a couple more agencies, and then finally last year, I decided to go out on my own. And so I became full time, digital marketing consultant and strategist. And so now I still work with small businesses, but I've also kind of really shifted my focus to working with female entrepreneurs. I'm very passionate about creating relationships with other female business owners, solopreneurs particularly, because I have in my experience,
Yeah.
women tend to go into business themselves. They have a vision, they have a goal, and then they're trying to do everything themselves.
Yep.
So I come in and I'm able to kind of help them with their strategy, give them some guidance, a little push, and and a lot of times that's all they really need. I am so grateful that I've built up this client base now, where I have a handful of um, regular monthly maintenance clients, and then people also come to me for project based work. They need SEO work on a new site, or they need some branding and storytelling strategy kind of consulting work, or one off projects like that. So I love being able to still, it still very much feels like agency
Hmm.
in that it's varied. It's so varied, and but then I also have the benefit of having a handful of my regular month to month clients that I love working with, and so yeah,
And I guess so. And I do want to say, it sounds like you went through a lot of like roadblocks. So I
yeah,
want to say congrats to you for the resilience going through that 2009, 2020. Like that was a lot, I'm sure. Um, so I guess like how come you didn't start again with the whole full blown agency and just went more so like consulting? Like what was the reasoning behind that?
yeah. That's a great question. I mean, I had done
Yeah.
quite a bit of agency work previously. Um, I think honestly, it's the flexibility that it gives me. Kind of being um, really just being a super small team. Right now, I have a wonderful assistant. She's a junior at KSU.
Okay.
Wow.
Hey, Nia. Um, and so, she and I work on a handful of projects together. But otherwise, I mean, like I said, it's the flexibility. I can share that literally just last night I flew in from Italy. I spent a week in Montepulciano,
No
and I
way.
was part
Wow.
of. I was speaking to some of the business students over there in the study abroad program. Um,
Awesome.
so because I'm just me, I have that flexibility. I mean, yes, I did work from there. I also ate a lot of gelato
I love that.
as you do.
Yeah.
But but it's the flexibility. I'm a mom. I've got an 11-year-old, and my other son turns 15 tomorrow.
Okay.
As of
Happy
the
early
Yeah.
birthday. Yeah.
yeah.
Congratulations.
So being able to be around, even with agencies that have flexible hours, or they're fully remote, it just still feels more you're still tied down. And so again, I having the flexibility of being able to pick and choose clients um, that I can align with, um, is really important. And then also having the flexibility to say, hey guys, sorry, I'm out of the office today, or for the next week.
Yeah.
But again, all of that work gets done ahead of time. So yep.
And well, I guess like more so like how come you didn't start an agency, um or were you referring to that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm sorry. My bad. My
No,
bad.
no, 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 no. Yeah.
I thought
I
you were
just
referring to like working under the agency kind of thing.
no, I didn't. I guess I kind of got burned out on agencies.
Yeah.
Working for one earlier in 2012 to 2014, and then being co-owner of one, which was completely different, but I had my own
Yeah.
client load at that time too. And then 21, 22, even 23, I did a lot of contract work for agencies. So that allowed me to be part of the team, but not a full time member of the team. Um, so yeah, honestly, I think it was marketing burnout, and
Mm.
which unfortunately is very prominent in the agency world.
That's pretty cool. I went to the study abroad trip too
You
in
Wow.
did?
2022. My first study abroad trip was in Montepulciano.
Oh my gosh, we have to talk about that
Yeah, I'd love to. I
afterwards.
love talking about that trip. It was
Who is your
life changing.
professor?
Ken Hill, Professor Ken.
Okay.
Yeah, I sent him an email last night actually to check in, and
Yeah.
but kind of steering back right off of that point, you getting to go abroad,
Mhm.
speak. It's a very people business, right?
Yes.
Marketing,
Yes.
sales. What has been, two or three takeaways out of all of your experience? It's such a lavish, such a broad resume of yours. Excuse me, with experiences, right? What are your takeaways when it comes to managing people, selling, talking to people? If you were to teach it in like a master class, what are some two or three points that you've taken away over all the years of your experience?
Um, in terms of just marketing as a
Yeah,
whole,
just like
marketing and
dealing with
sales.
people, marketing.
I think that connection
Mm,
is
mm,
incredibly important.
yeah.
People they can feel it. They can feel when you're being inauthentic. So I've never been comfortable being a hard sell.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That it really for me just comes from conversations, asking people how
Yeah.
they are. Um, that a lot of times kind of takes people off guard a little bit
Yeah.
because I'm not going in with well, how's the SEO on your site?
Yeah.
I took a look at it and it's not great.
Yeah.
It's, tell me about, what your goals are. Tell me, what's something that you're struggling with
Hmm.
right now. And that kind of loosens it up a little bit. Um, and I would say, in terms of, managing people, really just two things that I think are important in terms of connecting with other businesses and then also connecting with teams that I take from a book called Building a Story Brand
Yeah.
by Donald Miller. So you connect with your audience through empathy
Hmm.
and authority.
Oh wow. Okay.
And so, the empathy piece is, feeling with someone, connecting with them, saying, I'm so sorry, or whatever. And then the authority piece is more, um, establishing yourself as someone who knows what they're doing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's definitely a way to do that as you're leading a team, and then there's a way to do that to connect with your
Correct.
your ideal audience.
Hmm.
um, while I was saying that, there's something else that I was thinking of, another book that was recommended to me a couple of years ago called Radical Candor.
Okay.
And there's four quadrants, and I can't remember all of them, but where I've found myself in the past and where I'm
Hmm.
trying to be more balanced is there's a quadrant called ruinous empathy,
Okay.
which is you care too
Yeah.
much,
Mm.
which is a good thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but when it comes to having to make hard decisions, with your business, that ruinous empathy piece can sometimes get you in trouble.
Yeah.
And so it's that line of, I care about you, I care about your goals, and
Yeah.
I'm also running a business.
Yeah.
So
It's definitely a hard distinction, when to not let the personal and professional kind of blend.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. That's kudos to you for
Yeah.
picking that up. That's incredible, and I think that's something that just comes with experience, and I think that's yeah, I think it's incredible.
Thank you. I also have to say that I work with one of my clients is my husband's family owned painting company.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
So that comes in
yeah,
a
Yeah, for
lot,
sure.
a
yeah,
lot there. Yeah,
yeah,
working with your husband and your sister-in-law and your uncles and your father-in-law.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess don't mean to interrupt you in any way,
No, no,
but
no.
how do you do it? Like, how do you kind of find that healthy balance of saying the yeses and nos where it's needed, and kind of drawing those soft boundaries where you're not scarring relationships, because personal or professional relationships, but also kind of keeping the goal in mind, what the end goal is for your business.
It is hard. I mean, it's
Yeah.
been a lot of trial and error for sure,
Hmm.
and then kind of leaning a little too hard into that ruinous empathy
Yeah, yeah,
um, quadrant, and then going, "Ooh, nope, I need to pull back just a little bit."
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's having open, honest conversations. And just like I said, just being forthright.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
saying this is my goal. Tell me what your goal is, and how can we meet in the middle?
Hmm.
Like, because I do want to meet in the middle. Um, so that's the hope anyway. So,
So let's roll it back real quick. So like those first few clients that like your first initial clients, what was the process for getting that? Was
Mm.
it like paid ads, SEO stuff, um, content? Like what was your form of like outreach?
outreach. I started plugging myself into the networking community in North Georgia um, a, a couple of years prior, getting really, really heavy into a handful of organizations like in Woodstock, which out of
Yeah.
City of Woodstock, and then there's a couple of other ones like Woodstock Business Club and Canton Business Club, and some of these other networking opportunities. Just showing up every single week and letting people see your face. Um, and then apart from that too, I serve on a couple of different local boards as well. And it was never about, oh, if I serve on this board, I'm going to
Yeah.
get leads. I do it because I love doing it. But that kind of just being out in the community and that public servant piece has organically served me well in terms of bringing me leads, having people see, oh, that's Ashley, she's on the board for this thing. Being out in the community and really creating a legacy. One of the benefits of having a last name like Velez
Yeah.
is that there's not a whole lot of a lot of them
Yeah.
in Cherokee County
Mm.
that I'm not related to,
Yeah.
and so just I was freelance writing for some local publications, and again serving on some of the boards, and so a lot of my clients have just come in organically,
Hmm.
and then also thankfully through SEO.
Okay.
So just making sure that the right keywords and combinations are on my site for people who are searching for what I do, the consulting or SEO work. Um, so yeah, my husband and I both have really worked hard to cultivate a strong community in North Atlanta, and
Hmm.
becoming part of Hatchbridge too was
Mhm.
part of that, because we're also with his company, we're also part of the Family Enterprise Center
Okay.
across the way,
Yeah.
and so really trying to integrate too now into KSU as much as possible. and just be part of anything here that I can be part of. So
So I was just, going back to a little bit about all these conversations that, points you're bringing up. How do you measure success, and how do you think about, forming that role and form for someone especially who looks up to you, someone, what advice would you give to someone who's like driven, who wants to do something similar to what you're, but it's a whole blur of how to even get there.
yeah, um, start with one. Start with one
Mm,
one client.
I like that.
Um, because you can always grow from there. And in order to get that one client, I think a lot of times it's as easy as going to a networking meeting or going to maybe like a career fair or
Hmm.
something like that, and starting a conversation with someone.
Hmm.
I used to be very I used to be a lot more shy about doing stuff like that. I'm one of those extroverted introverts. So I that kind of thing
Yeah.
terrified me.
Yeah.
But I think starting with one, and then making those very small connections and going back to the same networking opportunities
Hmm.
to make sure that those people are seeing your face,
Yeah.
and or um, offer your network to
Mm.
to other people too, kind of being that connector piece, which again kind of ties in that empathy
Hmm.
and authority, like, oh, I know someone who does uh, film storytelling.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, have you met Matt and Lee?
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
because that's not a specialty of
Hmm.
Yeah.
mine, but if somebody was looking for that, I'd be like, oh, they're who you need to go
Yeah.
see. And so I think that a lot of it just comes from conversations, putting yourself out there, and being willing to do that.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
This podcast is brought to you by Hatchbridge Incubator. Hatchbridge Incubator is a partnership between Kennesaw State University and the Cobb Chamber of Commerce. We offer entrepreneurs the programs, the support, and the accountability that they need to build their businesses. We have programs and we have facilities for them to use. So our new facility will launch off of Chastain Road in the summer of 2025. We'll have 9 private offices for companies. We'll also have dedicated hot desk space for them to work at, and we'll have an event facility there as well. Learn more at hatchbridge.com.
I was just, going back to what you were just talking about and talking about the market as a whole, right? Just SEOs right now with how much AI optimization is becoming a thing. How are you looking at that market? How are you looking at those changes? Is it beneficial? Is it detrimental? Yeah, what's your view on it? What's your outlook on it? And yeah.
I mean, it's definitely disrupting the space as it is pretty much everywhere else.
Mm.
One of the marketing guys that I follow, Neil Patel,
Yeah.
a couple of months back had said, you know, Google isn't going to it's not going to go away just like,
Yeah.
Correct.
right, super fast. It is going to be a very slow shift. And that shift is going to go from search engine marketing to search everywhere marketing.
Interesting.
And so really having more of, even more emphasis on an omni-channel approach
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
is going to be very important. Thankfully, a lot of the customers that I work with are hyper local, so things like their Google business page are still very important. Keywords and meta titles and tags are still going to be important. I think another big thing is, you know, video too. Of course, do they have a YouTube channel? Because of course, YouTube is a Google owned
Yep.
entity,
Correct.
and so that kind of ties into. And then of course Instagram even a month or so back said that they are going to start having all of their captions in search engine
Yeah.
results. So now it's like, okay, you have to take a different approach with Instagram, and it's more of a storytelling
Yep.
in the caption as opposed to, just the reel.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I don't think that it's going to, I mean, it is disrupting it. There's no question about that. I don't think that it's going to disrupt quite as fast
Yeah.
as some of the other industries. But really just working on making sure that, if you do have a website, which you should, that your site is, that it has information that is helpful to the
Yeah.
customer,
Yeah.
and then is also crawlable,
Sure.
by Google, and then continuously adding content. The 500 word blog post that I used to pump out in my early days of agency work
Yeah.
aren't going to work anymore. You're going to
Correct.
need deeper
Yeah.
thought provoking articles that are, 1,500 words, 2,000 words,
Yeah.
and act as pillar content that can then, link back, and work on inbound links and things like that. So it's definitely shifting things. And, in that vein, I know a lot of customers or a lot of business owners are, using AI, which is great.
Yeah.
But that's when I caution that because so many people are using AI to help create their content, like now I can pick it out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Um, I'm like, oh, it's an M dash, which as an English major makes me so sad. Like I love my M dashes,
Yeah.
but now I have to be careful how much I'm using them because
Correct.
I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
I put that there on purpose. Or like the triplets,
Yeah.
it'll use like the 3 words at a time, and
Yeah. Yeah.
so using it to help you with your strategy and figuring out the words that you want to say, but then also making sure that you're not losing that human
Yeah. Absolutely.
Essence.
element.
Yeah.
So and absolutely it can be helpful, and I use it all the time
Mm-hmm.
to help me gather my thoughts and things. But so yeah.
So I guess just on that, you were talking about like websites. A question just popped in my mind was, what's some advice you would give someone for healthy habits in maintaining and building a website?
Oh. I would say you definitely want to have a multi-page site. If you got to get something up there and you've only got one page, okay, it's a start. But your goal should be to flesh out additional pages as you can. So you want an about, you want a services, you want contact, you do want a blog still. It doesn't have to be called blog, but
Yeah.
you want somewhere where there's additional pieces of content that you can update and
Yeah.
and upload. And then I would say, making sure that you're checking your Google Analytics. If it's a brand new site, you want to check pretty regularly, every week, bi-weekly. And then as you start to have a rhythm, all of my clients get a monthly, SEO check-in where
Oh
I
wow.
send them PDFs of how everything is going, where their traffic is coming from, the
Correct.
top pages for,
Yeah.
for each site. And so it's a good mix of seeing what's working.
Mhm.
So then you can go in and, if you see a page that's underperforming, you
Yeah.
can go and you can update it.
Mm-hmm.
So, having a more robust site that is going to be beneficial for your ideal user, Google is still going to reward you for that.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And just to kind of like reel it back to customer discovery and stuff like that. Like I know you mentioned kind of just showing up and a lot of organic things, but necessarily like, I guess, where's that fine line between like organically just being there and waiting for an opportunity to come versus having some type of strategy to
Mhm.
turn that organic into like an actual client.
Hmm. Yeah. So I think there's, you can kind of put certain marketing aspects into three buckets: owned, earned, and paid.
Wow.
And so paid is obviously, paid social media
Mhm.
campaigns, pay per click. And then owned is your website.
Mhm.
I would also put email marketing in owned. And then earned is where the social media kind of comes in. So, making sure that you're posting content on all the different channels, that assuming that you've done your
Yeah.
customer target
Yeah.
research,
Yeah.
that you know where your customers are. And so it really should be a combination of everything above. It should be social media posts and email marketing, because you might reach you will reach a different target market there, who may not be on Facebook because they don't want to be on Facebook anymore.
Yeah.
So it has to be kind of um, it has to be an all encompassing thing. And so having, me going out and doing networking and kind of, you know, introducing myself in various places, when they do come to my site, that provides the social proof. They can sign up for my email newsletter from there, provides more social proof. If they Google
Yeah.
me, there's other podcasts, there's other features, there's some social media posts.
Yeah.
So all of that kind of works together.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We recently heard about, uh, talked about, red ocean and, dark blue ocean. But the concept just being that, there's markets where there's sharks and it's saturated, especially marketing. I think today agencies and just marketing in the industry is very, very cutthroat. It's very
For sure.
saturated. And then the blue ocean is the idea that it's far away, it's a little bit more remote, it's more nuanced, a little more esoteric. Uh, all that to preface, just to ask, where do you see yourself, your company specifically, and assuming that it is a part of that quote unquote red ocean, how do you stand out? How do you persevere to provide value that's different from others, but at the same time maintain that quality and also really have a brand identity?
That's a great question too. Last year, I actually went through a brand redesign
Mm.
with my friend Cassie Hanishak. She
Mm.
was so wonderful, and that was the same time that I decided to really push forward and go out on my own as a consultant and a strategist. And part of that strategy was really focusing on, again, the female business owner,
I
the
like that. Yeah.
female solopreneur,
Yeah.
because I feel like there's a connection that that women can make with other women.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, definitely.
there's
For
so
sure.
many other things that we can connect on aside from, hey, I have a plan, I have a goal, I'm building this business. It's, hey, I'm a mom too, or hey,
Yeah.
I'm a wife too.
Yeah.
You don't even necessarily have to have kids, but like there's
Yeah.
all of these other things that are um, probably that they're in charge of.
Yeah.
And so it's that helping them with their marketing while also understanding that they're balancing
A
a lot,
lot.
a
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
lot.
Oh yeah.
And
100%.
so really focusing on, female solopreneurs, coaches, therapists, um, and just anyone else who is kind of a one woman
Yeah.
dynamo,
Yeah.
um, really has helped. And I hope that I've done it in such a way that I haven't excluded, other small business owners
Correct.
who I would absolutely love to work with. And so it's kind of having both, but really saying, hey girl, I see you.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's hard, and especially
Yeah.
today
Yeah.
with how things are. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love
Yeah.
that.
That's
Yeah.
that's a great way to stand out though.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause like you said, in marketing, it's just very, very saturated. You have agency, freelance stuff. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So, I guess where do you see yourself next 5 years, the next 10 years, with the rise of AI, kind of getting smarter? Um, where do you see your business and the changes it might make?
Yeah. Well, again, like I know that I have to use AI in my business in order to not get left by AI.
Yeah.
So figuring out ways to integrate it into my daily work,
Hmm.
really kind of treating it as another assistant. That doesn't have the human piece, but using it to help me come up with outlines and strategies that I can start from, and then move into next steps, and yeah. So I think too that yes, I mean, will we probably get to a point where AI can pump out meta titles and descriptions? Yeah, we're already there. We're
Yeah.
already there.
Yeah.
They're and do competitive research and all of these other things. But until it can write without using M dashes
Mm-hmm.
and triplets,
Yeah.
and it'll still need
Yeah.
that human touch, that
Mm-hmm.
human refinement, so just to kind of come in and really mold it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I just feel like if I don't grow and change and play with AI as I'm doing that, I mean, I don't want to get left behind.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess, right now there's a lot of conversation about AI, the market. It's a word thrown around a lot. Um, and there are some industries that are more affected and some that are slightly less. But, keeping AI completely away, keeping machine learning away from this conversation for a second, what are some trends that you're, now noticing that are less talked about, that are not actually noticed, but you can foresee them becoming big too in the industry of just marketing and the business of marketing as a whole?
That question too.
Yeah. Great question.
I think we're still going to see a lot of emphasis on video.
Mm, yeah.
And I think too that taking a stand on in your industry, even if it's
Mm,
controversial, is
yeah.
is still a way to get people talking about the things that you're saying. And I Yeah, I mean, I think too that there's a lot of organizations that use Facebook groups as a way to connect their communities
Mm-hmm.
as
Yeah.
as they're building them. I don't see email marketing going away
Really
anytime soon. No. Well,
interesting.
because what if we have another one of those blips where Meta goes down
Yeah.
and like all the social media managers are freaking out because they
Yeah.
can't see, like, did it go out, did it not
Oh
go
yeah.
out, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And it's few and far between, but it does happen.
Yeah.
And so again, kind of thinking in terms of your owned, earned, and paid
Yeah.
marketing, and really really leaning into still the website, and what the what is the ultimate goal of the customer? How can you put yourself in their shoes? What is the problem that they're trying to solve? In the Hatchbridge program, I think Graham and Colin say, what is your brick that is helping them put their hair
Yeah.
out if their hair is on fire?
Yeah.
Just kind of thinking in it in that way, where it's like it doesn't have to necessarily be perfect,
Yeah.
but if they
Yeah.
are hurting that badly,
Yeah.
and you are able to solve their problem,
Provide that. Yeah.
and that is evident in everything that is on your site, I think that will be important. I think as the different generations continue to shift in terms of market segments and things, Gen Z, and millennials as being one, we still very much want to connect with a brand. That is so important. And we want to read reviews of, is this going to work for me? Is it, are you like me, in terms of, brand positioning and messaging, and, that's not going to go away anytime soon, I don't think. I think that we're going to see a trend coming back to more community based and less
Really
individualistic.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, okay, and I don't know anything about this industry. You're definitely the expert on this podcast. And let me preface with that before I ask you this question. With how I look at it from my end, I think it's how I was viewing it was we're moving away from that with, for example, short form content, right? We're not anymore, that attention span is going away. That idea of having sitting down and having a conversation and just listening, I think that idea is going away. So when you bring up the fact that, consumers might actually want to gravitate more towards that community based relationship rather than an individualistic relationship, um, do you see that fallacy over there? Do you see that that's actually not the trend? It might, it might look from someone's perspective, might look like that, but in actuality, it's more so a conversion of a trend.
I think that it's going to hit kind of a wall in terms of the short form content and the one off, and I think that when that happens, it's going to be a return to more community based
Interesting.
media.
Yeah.
So we're just like trends and styles and things. That's like every 20 years things are going to come back around. I think that you know yes, there's still going to be the reels and educational content and things like that, but I particularly as things are right now, I think that at least it's my hope that we kind of move back into a community based mindset.
So I guess what would a catalyst be for that transition?
Oh, people feeling the need for true community and not
Yeah.
just the community that
Yeah.
is online.
Yeah.
So you're optimistic about it. I
I
really
hope
like that. I
so.
really like that. I feel like, I don't mean to interrupt you. I
No.
feel like I personally just come from a more of a pessimistic view with
Uh,
society. People, I felt like it's more downward spiraling with connections being lost and human, that human relationship wearing away slowly and steadily. But I like that we're still, there's optimism, and maybe you are right, and I hope you're right, because it's a necessity in
Yeah.
Yeah.
today's, just in general,
In
for
general,
the
yeah.
humanity.
Yes, for sure.
and we keep going through like a lot of problems
Mm.
and situations that kind of force us to come together as communities.
Mm.
So I don't know. I mean, we definitely could lead back to that for
Mm.
sure. So I know you said that you work with a lot of mainly female solo entrepreneurs. Like, what do you see a lot of times that they struggle with that you end up?
They have a lot of times they have a tendency to know that they need to be doing a lot of different things. It's the prioritizing
Mm.
that is the issue. They're like, oh my gosh, I know I need to be writing blogs and I know I need to be pushing out social media content, but they need a little bit more guidance and a little bit more strategy on what is what is going to bring them the most ROI more immediately, and then kind of going from there. So really more of just a roadmap of, hey, you're doing really great here and you're doing really great here. What if we tweak your strategy just a little bit and see what happens?
Yeah.
Constantly testing, always be testing. So just kind of letting them know that like marketing really is just one big test when you think about
Yeah.
it. And so letting them know that, hey, we can test this thing, or hey, we can try this other thing, and then let's watch. Let's look at the data. Let's look at the analytics.
Mm-hmm.
And so making sure that if we pull a lever, we're tracking that.
Yeah.
And then when we're able to look at the data together, it tells a story. And so, kind of looking from that story and going, okay, so if this is the outcome that we want, maybe we need to tweak this other piece over here. And so it's really just letting them know that, there's, there's all sorts of different options,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then kind of guiding them along the way as they do that, and also providing that support. Again, that's why I love working with female entrepreneurs, because there's that support piece too. So it's the empathy and authority,
I
again,
love
kind
that.
of kind
Yeah.
of coming in and
Yeah.
saying, don't worry,
Yeah.
you're doing it.
Yeah.
It's okay. Maybe we do it.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
try this way and see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with you being a female entrepreneur yourself, I feel like that would kind of draw them a lot to you more so than
Mm.
somebody else. But have you had any like ever objections,
Mm.
or
Yeah.
and if you did, like what did you use to kind of rebuttal that and
In term like from
from the female entrepreneur that
Oh, no. I mean, no, there's never really been
that's
any
awesome.
any sort of
Pushback.
Yeah.
pushback or issue
Wow.
with that.
That's amazing.
So, you know, it's you got blue hair, people kind of
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, okay, cool."
She knows what she's talking about. Yeah, that's awesome because not many people are able to say that. It's
Yeah.
always some type of like, yeah, I gotta deal with this. As
Mhm.
far as to like pushing them over that edge
Yeah.
to work with. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
Awesome.
like I said, a lot of the agencies that I worked with previously were, they I get it. The messaging is always, the goal is that we can help you. We're the best.
Yeah.
And even the
Mm.
ones that, I mean, even the one that I co-founded, it was, we can help you. We care the most.
Mm.
And I just saw it so many times, and it kind of felt, I mean, it just felt hollow after a while.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so a lot of times I'll just do a one-off little free project or something, and just to, again, pay it forward.
Yeah.
So and that um, provides the care and the
Yeah.
Yeah.
so.
So in all of your great experience over the years, two things, kind of a two-part question. Can you kind of talk us through a point or a project that was the most rewarding project that comes to your mind first?
Mhm.
And on the flip side of that, can you tell us about I don't want to use the word dreadful, but a project that maybe challenged you a lot and really taught you so much?
Yeah. I will I'm gonna talk about my husband's business again.
Mm.
Okay.
So they family owned and operated, started in 1991
Wow.
by my father-in-law.
Okay.
And so back in 2021, it was their 30th anniversary.
Wow. Yeah.
And so with, everything that they had built, I was like, God, it's time for a rebrand.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
that's
need-
hard.
we,
Yeah.
we need to update everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a really, really big project.
Oh,
We,
yeah.
the logo, the messaging, the colors, the fonts, everything top to bottom.
Wow.
So, the website, all the messaging, to really focus on family owned, family operated,
Yeah.
never a franchise.
Yeah.
And then of course now my husband and my sister-in-law own it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
That's beautiful.
so and it really has kind of turned into second
A
generation
legacy. Yeah.
a legacy.
That's so
yes.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And so working on that rebrand project
Mhm.
was one of the hardest things, because again, working with family, but also it was one of the most rewarding, because we
Wow.
were able
Yeah.
to see, like, oh my gosh, how far we've come,
Yeah.
Yeah.
how far
Yeah.
everybody's
Aw.
come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's probably both,
Yeah.
actually, because there were many nights where I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
okay,
What have I gotten myself into?
what have I? Yeah.
Jeez.
So we actually worked with my friend Cassie on that
Okay.
one
Great,
as
yeah.
well too. So she was so great in helping us determine, like, what our core values are, and what our messaging really, what our goal was
Mhm.
for messaging. And yeah, it was really just focusing on that legacy.
I'm just building off of that, right? Education.
Mhm.
Talking through just a little bit of education. I feel like, how does that differ for your clientele compared to, say, XYZ agency, who is they're broad, they can take anybody, they talk to anybody, they help anybody.
Mhm.
But whereas, when it comes to like education specifically, how does that come down to, or how does that differ in your space compared to different?
I actually believe that educating my clients is my, really is one of my primary goals. I don't like to gatekeep
Yeah.
any
I
of
love
that
that,
information. So if a client wants to learn how to add, stuff to the back end of the site, if the client wants to take over the content creation, I don't want to keep them from doing that.
Yeah.
And so if they want, guidance, that's where the consulting can come
Mhm.
in. And so I would much prefer to do that than have them feel like they're stuck in a contract that,
Yeah.
that they
Yeah,
can't get out of.
Correct. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, that flexibility piece is super important. And I think that also, really, I hope it builds trust.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
And I know this really doesn't have anything to do with you, but why do you feel like agencies do that? Like, what's the purpose of that? Like, trying to trap somebody into something that they can't get out of.
So that they make more money. But I mean, yeah, it always just felt inauthentic, and it didn't feel honest to me. So I mean, all of my clients now, I don't start at under 3 months, like for a SEO contract.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
But then, unless they specifically ask for it, I won't go over 6 months at a time either, just because I want to have that time to check in. And then at 6 months, we can always say, yeah, let's do, another 6 months. But, that education piece, and just, that constant conversation and check in is very important. And then also providing them the data that that their website is showing, so that they can be informed about, oh, well, this is working. Oh, well, this isn't working. Maybe we should spend less money over here, and then maybe we should really focus on this other area.
Yeah.
that's important because a lot of them have probably limited marketing budget.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
And I think that comes to a lot of hard conversations that you have to have. So I guess just building off of that, my next question to you would be, how do you have those hard conversations? You know, these are pure professional conversations. How do you tell someone that the way they're thinking about their brand, their business, may not be the most ideal way to go about it? You know, how do you how do you help them through that idea of what you have in mind, whereas what they have in mind? Because let's accept it, if they're coming to you, they probably see an experience that they don't have, right?
mhm.
So yeah.
um, that's again that kind of connection piece where those conversations are definitely better had in person, face to face,
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
not
yeah.
over
Yeah.
not over the phone because you
Yeah.
can't see
Feel it.
somebody's
Yeah, exactly.
face.
Yeah.
And just being honest, saying, "Hey, I am married to a small business owner. I've been a small business owner.
Yeah.
I've been in your shoes. I
Yeah.
know that you are passionate about your work, your product, you know, your services, whatever it is that you do. And may I suggest an alternative
Yeah.
idea?"
Yeah.
Because, you know, I think that if we pivot in this way, you might see a bigger ROI, or you know, finally be able to reach the
Yeah.
target audience
Yeah.
that you know that you've been vying for. And so really just kind of guiding them along very gently.
Yeah.
It's not a forceful. I don't ever want it to be a forceful my way or the highway kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah. It's not healthy. Yeah.
So, you know, I just find that typically, you know, tends to work a lot better. And, you know, there have been times where that hasn't worked.
Yeah.
And I've had to say, you know, gosh, I'm sorry. I would love to keep working with you, but
That's great. Yeah.
I just don't think that this is a good
Yeah.
fit. And I wish you all the best. And I hope that you can find a consultant or an agency that works with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just let it go.
Yeah. I might have to
Yeah.
excuse myself,
Sure.
but thank you so much.
Of course.
It was a pleasure speaking with you, and we will
Likewise.
definitely catch up on Italy
Oh,
when
yes.
I'm back.
Yes.
100%.
Let's do that.
So, just to kind of pick off what you were just kind of saying, like letting people go, like, how are you able? Because I know a lot of people just kind of stick through it and just be like, you know what, I need it. But how are you able to say, you know what, it's not gonna work out, you know?
Whew. That's been a lot of trial and error too. And I think for me, it comes down to um, a mindset shift. Whereas in previous agencies, it's been very much a scarcity mindset where, and that probably answers your question, like, well,
Yeah.
why are these agencies keeping clients that, you know, may not be a good fit, or they've got them sucked into these 12 or 24-month contracts? I think it's that scarcity mindset that keeps them there. And so I have a lot of wonderful woo-woo friends, and they have kind of steered me towards this. You know, it's a little more freeing. It's more just like, if this client isn't meant for me, then I will find the right one.
Yeah.
And so holding on to it, you know, or holding on to a client that isn't a good fit, is going to be bad for them, and it's going to be bad for me.
Yeah.
And who knows who it would actually be worse for.
Yeah.
But and so I, you know, with all the other things that I have, you know, juggling as a wife and a mom, and you know, it doesn't seem as important to me. I
Yeah.
will, and because of that mindset, I think it's you know, that you carry yourself a little bit differently. You're not trying to grasp onto things that aren't for you.
Yeah.
And so I hope that that comes through in, the conversations that I have. If I'm like, well, you know what, this you might be better suited for this other agency, or
Yeah.
maybe this other person can help you. And really also looking into what other people's specific um, niches are. Like, again, yeah, I can do some video marketing,
Yeah.
but I send them
Yeah.
to visual storytellers over there,
Yeah.
a couple cubicles down from me. So yeah, much prefer that,
Yeah.
and that mindset has served me well.
For sure. So what's next? Next 5 years, 10 years, like for the future.
Well, I have a couple of different offerings in addition to just my regular, kind of one-off projects
Mm-hmm.
and monthly things. Um, this kind of pulls into the consulting piece, but I have what's called a VIP day,
Okay.
where a client can book me for an entire day, and I send them a couple of questionnaires ahead of time so that I know fully, I get a good picture of what their biggest pain points are. And so the goal with that is we get, a blocked set of time to work on whatever is bothering them the most, or, whatever is frustrating them the most. And so those are really great because they're able to walk away with results
Yeah.
that same day.
Yeah. That's
And I
awesome.
send them home with, checklists, and then I check in again at 30 days and say, hey, how's it going? Do you need any help with anything? Do you need like a follow up one-on-one, or something like that? Some of the other things that I'm going to also be hopefully working on some downloadable digital products.
Okay. Cool.
And lastly, actually, as of this week, I'm very excited. I have taken on a business partner
Okay.
for
Okay.
a side thing.
Yeah.
So my friend Jen Richardson, she is an award-winning coach, and she has helped me so much. We have this amazing synergy.
Mm-hmm.
She is a master of streamlining and focus when it comes to business, and so her ability to kind of push people in the right direction, hold them accountable, hold their hands as they're doing it. And then my marketing knowledge and know-how, we have started a group coaching program for women.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So it's a monthly coaching program. It's called Rooted Authority.
Okay.
And because, again,
Yeah.
kind of that, empathy and authority piece that I love so much from building a story brand.
Yeah.
And so it'll be just for female entrepreneurs, and we are launching it in September.
Oh wow.
So she
Awesome.
and I were literally on calls while I was in Italy last
Okay.
week, and so it was a
Yeah.
super fun 6-hour time difference. But yeah, so we're launching that. She's up in Chicago, but she was here in Atlanta, and so our hope is just that we can provide that really provide that empathy and authority for other business owners, for other female business owners, as they're building, whatever their dream is.
Yeah.
We want to be there to help them and coach them, and just be there on their journey for as honestly as long as they need.
Yeah.
So
That's exciting.
yeah.
How do you think that will like complement what you're doing currently?
Well, my hope is that it will kind of tie in if there are certain business owners who find that they need a lot more marketing help.
Mhm.
I'm happy to do some separate consulting with them
Yeah.
outside of the program, and then also just really being a resource. So being a resource with the coaching program with Jen, and then also just as a solo consultant, I don't see them as necessarily competing with each other. I see them as more of a an organic, synergistic kind
Yeah.
of relationship. So
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the audience, maybe where they can find you at or learn more about that?
Sure. So my website is ashleyvelez.com. My handles on most social media accounts is also Ashley G. Velez. I added the G many years ago because there were actually quite a lot of Ashley Velez's. And so I thought, well, I'm going to add my middle initial in there and make sure that I stand out.
Differentiate it. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, you can find me there and or at a networking event, probably in North Atlanta, more specifically Cherokee County.
Awesome. Perfect.
So,
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We will see y'all next time.
Thank you.